the first time I felt that I had a group of people around me who could play what I could hear in my head. I think all videos should be made this way. When I'm on stage singing it, it kind of takes me back to a time and a place that I probably would prefer to forget.
Robert Smith's words were so amazing in the way that he combined that sort of emotion and the darkness and the honesty of the words with music that could vary from something just very nightmarish and heavy to something that's, you know, very poppy and uplifting and very catchy.
Hearing Robert Smith play guitar solo, the open of Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me for like 8 minutes, and I thought it was so arrogant in some way that it was beautiful, and I was sold from there on.
Growing up, The Cure was probably my favorite band for a long time.
I just sit in my room and just play the tapes over, and they didn't have the lyrics on a lot of the tapes, so I would just listen to them and figure out the lyrics and just write them out on paper just to do it. And that's actually what influenced me to start writing lyrics in the first place. I mean,
great pop songs that have some punch and some integrity, which is quite a difficult thing to do.
What they did really allowed people to open up a lot and, you know, be a little bit more comfortable with the, you know, feelings they had and who they were, and open up to music and different types of art as well. And I mean, you know, it just really paved the way for a lot of boys to wear a lot of makeup.
Hello, Robert Smith. What made you decide to be a musician? That wasn't scripted.
I don't think you do decide, actually, to be a musician. I was just fell in love with playing music. You know, it was one of those things. It's like, I think if you have an environment where you just like, you realise how much fun you can have playing music, it isn't like an option. You just want to do it. You know? Once we started to write our own songs, and I started to think, well, we could kind of go somewhere with it, I was then convinced that that's what I would, you know, if given the choice, that's what I wanted to do.
What would you do if you weren't a musician?
If I hadn't embarked on a career with a band as a musician, I don't know, I would probably be hybridising roses somewhere in the Outer Hebrides, just creating the perfect black rose.
We want to know what it was like for you to have your first hit single.
Well, for me, it's actually making the first album was the big thing. It was when Three Imaginary Boys came out. I can remember going to our local record shop and just seeing it there. It was just, I was like, that was it. I'd kind of like achieved my ambition. I could have just stopped then, really. Everything that happened from that point on, it was just a gradual process, and so each time something happened, it was like, oh yeah, it's really good, you know, it's like we're going somewhere, it's getting bigger and better and more people are hearing us and things. But nothing was ever quite as dramatic as that, as just seeing that first album cover, you know, because you kind of think that's never going to happen.
What Cure album was the turning point for your career?
Doing the Pornography album, I mean, when we'd finished that, I knew that we'd made an album that I thought that would be our defining album when we made that record. When I kind of came to, and I realised what we'd done, I thought, this is it. This is what I've been working towards. Then when we did the Head in the Door album, for the first time I felt that I had a group of people around me who could play what I could hear in my head. I was kind of like, I would say, let's try it this way, and everyone would play it. And it was like, I was kind of like so full of joy that year.
Why is Pictures of You everyone's favourite Cure song?
I think Pictures of You is one of those songs that we occasionally do that sort of bridges the gap between being melancholic and being kind of upbeat. It's a strange combination because it's quite a dreamy sort of uplifting tune. It keeps going up into like, it lifts into the choruses and it lifts again into the end section.
Looking so long at these pictures of you that I almost believe that they're real. I've been living
but all the time the lyrics are kind of getting more and more morose. I mean, it is a really sad song for me to sing, actually. It's still a very... when I'm on stage singing it, it kind of takes me back to a time and a place that I probably would prefer to forget.
Robert, Friday I'm in Love. Is it The Cure's perfect pop song?
In one way, I suppose I do, because it's so cheesy. you know, like days of the week. And I couldn't believe that no one had used that chord sequence before. I played it to so many people before I dared to actually go in the studio with it, because I was sure I'd nicked it. I don't know though, because I think Boys Don't Cry probably is a kind of definitive pop single, because that's the first thing I ever wrote that I thought, that sounds like it could have been done in the 1960s.
Boys Don't Cry was the first one that I heard, and I loved it, and then wanted to find out more and more about this band.
Boys Don't Cry is absolutely one of my favourite albums ever made, you know, in terms of just an album sticking together.
I have a Cure tattoo. It's like one of the only band tattoos I have.
But really, I really, really, really mean that. It's absolutely fucking brilliant the way that album sticks together.
This is Boys Don't Cry.
Hiding the tears in my eyes. Boys don't cry. Boys don't cry.
Mr. Smith, a lot of bands, including ourselves, cite you as being a major influence on their songwriting and their career. Inquiring minds would like to know how you feel about that.
To feel like we have inspired people to do something is a great feeling. It's something that I didn't really think about in the first probably 10 years of being in the band. It was only really with the Dinosaur Jr. did a cover version of Just Like Heaven in 1988, and that's really the first time I started to think about the fact that we could actually be inspiring other people.
I think The Cure has had as much influence as a band like the Rolling Stones.
And I just think that, God, they've made some good records, haven't they?
They're one of the bands, or maybe the band, that really made me cross over from liking guitar rock into whatever people call alternative.
I mean, down the years, there's a lot of weird people who've kind of name-checked us. I went and bought a Shakira album on the back of it saying nice things about her, so it worked. And listening to what she does, I can't hear anything in there that remotely reminds me of The Cure, but it is still, at the same time, it's kind of heartwarming to think that she likes what we do. When the Deftones first started, I was made aware of the fact that they were kind of saying, you know, we like The Cure. When I listened to their first album, I thought, how the hell does this work? You know, when we're all kind of like older English men, and it doesn't come very naturally to, you know, at this stage for everyone just to kind of like take their clothes off and love each other, sort of thing. If you just kind of like pick a subject and write a song about it, it's like meaningless. Very occasionally we go off on one, you know, and I've got some hand movements on stage and the others, I can see them think, oh no. So I think all videos should be made this way. Working with Ross was the best experience I've ever had in a studio. That's like the most expensive tour in history, actually.
Robert, we were all wondering as a band, what possessed you to say yes when we asked you to collaborate on a song on our new record? Why would you want to say yes to that?
All the small things, true care, truth brings.
It was funny actually because it was quite divisive when they phoned up and I told the others and people around me whose opinion I trust, and it really did kind of like make people jump one side or the other and say, no, you know, you don't want to do that.
Watching, waiting, commiserating.
Other people saying, like when I played them the songs, most people actually changed their mind when I played them the demos. I realised that Blink kind of, you know, were kind of seen in a certain way, but they were trying to evolve and have evolved into something more. And I think what they've done is, I think their album is a great album. I think they are a great band. So I had no hesitation myself, actually, in joining in with them. I was very flattered to be asked, actually.
Hello there, the angel from my nightmare, the shadow in the background of the moor, the unsuspecting victim of darkness in the valley. We can live like Jack and Sally if we want.
Hi Robert, I've heard you just shot the video for your new song, Taking Off. What was that like?
It's fabulous. I think all videos should be made this way. In fact, I'm never going to make a video any other way.
Yeah, just move them, rotate them. Just animate.
I'm Adam Tote, one of the directors from the Sailing Project. We're here shooting The Cure, and this is green screen land, and so the green will allow us to tell the computer remove green, and then we can have them cut out and drop them in.
Taking Off is unusual actually on the new album because it's the one song on there that's just out and out happy. It doesn't have any kind of like twist at the end, which for us is really unusual. I mean, Friday I'm in Love is similar to that because it doesn't have any kind of, you know, there's no more Fridays kind of feel at the end of the song.
A lot of the concept for Taking Off is inspired by these paintings of this guy, Darren Waterston, who does these drippy, beautiful, kind of silhouetted dark paintings. They just seem to go with the music. We talked to Robert, and Robert talked about how the verses are kind of oppressive, and then there are these releases during these choruses where he takes off, and he wanted to be levitating and flying.
They started talking about doing green and blue screen stuff and just animating and stuff, and I thought we've never actually done that before. We've never done anything with it. I saw some of the stuff on their showreel, Sailing Project's showreel, and it's just amazing what they did. And I saw the making of the Roots video thing, like to see how they did it, and I just thought it's so clever that what you can do, and all they require from us as a band is performance. I thought it's so much better, so much easier than trying to interact with props and a setting and stuff. You know, it's just because you can just concentrate on the song.
We're going for this weighed down feel during the verses, and in the chorus, it's kind of lighter and more airy. And so whatever you can do, just in your physical.
You know, there's not a lot you can do.
Understood. But maybe you're just more hunched over during the verses.
We've had everyone like it's just a little harder to play during the verses.
Okay.
Because I said I wanted, like at the end, I want to just kind of fly away from where we are, and they were kind of scratching their heads as to how to do that convincingly.
Robert, just want to talk to you about the harness. Good job. He wants to know about
the harness, the flying rig.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This would be some good footage.
When do you think, how much time?
Harness conversation.
Unless you're like really kind of like more than competent mime artist to do anything that looks like you're actually lifting off, and that's the thing where people pretend they're walking up, all that sort of stuff. And I can barely kind of walk, you know, let alone, you know, give the impression that I'm taking off. So I suggested that I should just get on some wires and just you know, lift me up, it'd be easy, isn't it? Like, oh yeah, it's almost like we didn't think of that. It's the real world solution.
And going up. Okay, stay in there for a while, stay in there, holding until I hear. What was it called? Ema? That's it. Yeah, I've just been making it. That makes me one, didn't I? Oh no, they know!
Robert Smith is exactly as I would have imagined him. He's just a really sweet guy and very much in charge and in control of the whole process, and knows what he likes, and pretty gracious and kind, I guess.
It's like a step for us in a direction that we've never gone in before. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing the end result of this one.
Beautiful.
What do you think makes this Cure album different to all of your previous ones?
I think the strange thing about this album is that always in the past we've reacted against the album we've just made. So like when we did Disintegration, we did the Mixed Up album, and when we did the Wish album, we did the Wild Mood Swings album. It's always something that's completely at odds with what's gone before.
Whenever I'm alone with you, you make me feel like I am whole again.
I'm often criticised for kind of like repeating, returning to themes and repeating, but there isn't an artist in history that doesn't do that. I mean, everyone does it. If you don't, I honestly don't think you're an artist, because it's like if you just kind of like pick a subject and write a song about it, it's like meaningless. So I wanted to get everything that kind of like that I love writing about, and all the sounds that I love, and all the way that the Cure does things, all together in one album, and actually perform it live in the studio, and that's essentially what it is.
If you want to, I never try to stop you. No, there's a reason for all of this. You're feeling low. It's not my call. You couldn't ever love me more.
Working with Ross was the best experience I've ever had in a studio in my life, actually.
Don't show much. It's not that hard to hide. You see, in a moment, I can't remember how to be all you wanted. I couldn't ever.
People were kind of worried at the start that he was, it was Ross Robinson. He did Korn. He did Slipknot. He's going to make the Cure a new metal band. They were so wrong, because what I liked about Ross, what I saw in Ross, was just this incredible enthusiasm and drive, and he sensed something about what we do. He thought he could make us take that much, much further, and I think he did. And I think there was a price to pay, but I was kind of happy to pay it. I mean, we're all kind of like older English men, and it doesn't come very naturally to, at this stage for everyone just to kind of like take their clothes off and love each other, sort of, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Can you tell us about the artwork for your new album?
I sent a letter to each one of my nephews and nieces, of which I've got 25 now, asking them to do me a picture of a good dream and a picture of a bad dream, and also to write The Cure. For those that are too young to understand the letter, obviously their parents wrote The Cure and pretended that their child had done it. And then I got all this artwork. There's like 75 pieces of artwork, and I stuck them all over the walls in the control room. Some of the characters really jumped out, and they're the ones that are on the sleeve. It's like we all felt drawn to one particular character. Needless to say, I was drawn to the large, gruesome character in the occupying the centre of the album sleeve.
I just wanted to know how you worked out your set list, because you got so many songs, and do you sort of think about it from what you want to play or from what the fans want to hear? It's probably both, but anyway, you can tell as well.
We have to play 2 hours, or that's it. We can't really go. I mean, every minute we go over 2 hours, it kind of costs us $10,000. I mean, we are breaking curfews. That's like the most expensive tour in our history, actually, because I keep going, no, come on, let's keep playing, and the others are going, no, if we do, you're paying for it. The 3-hour stuff, I mean, we only throw those in every now and again. We started playing 3-hour sets as kind of just a matter of course, but I think we had aspirations to be the new Grateful Dead actually at one point. But I don't know, I think it worked at the time, and the way that we were doing this, we were extending a lot of songs, we were kind of extemporising, and just, we were using a framework of the song, and then we were just kind of going places with it. I actually think we're better now that we keep things kind of like to the point. Very occasionally we go off on one, and I've got some hand movements on stage, and the others I can see them think, oh no, but I think it's a good discipline actually, because we're picking songs to fit into probably about an hour 40 to 2 hours. You can still put in the songs that people want to hear, and it still leaves you space to play a handful of songs that maybe people don't want to hear but we want to play.
We'd like to know, Robert, what inspires you?
What still inspires me? Oh, I think that what we've just done this summer on the Curiosa Festival tour of North America, having all the bands around us like Interpol and The Rapture, Mogwai, and lots of others. I mean, I'm not going to run through the list, but people who are really passionate about what they do and really enthused about what they do. That's kind of like, it's kept the flame burning for me.
How does it feel to be branded an icon, or how does it feel to be an icon?
It's hugely flattering, actually, to have, like, there's so many people getting involved and that are involved in it.
It doesn't matter what you say. Show me how you do that trick. The one that made me scream. She said, only tonight we could slide to deep black waters. Boys don't cry.
I don't feel any different than I did when I started, and I'm kind of being almost this like, acknowledgement of like 25 years and, like, and all this kind of like starting to crowd in on me of like what we've done and like what we mean.
If I were in 9th grade and someone would have told me that we were doing this, I would have scoffed at them. I wouldn't have believed it. I've always been one of my favorite bands growing up, so it's an honor.
People will listen to The Cure forever.
I shine with you tomorrow.
Hi, my name's Chris.
My name's Nikki.
I'm Luca from Milan.
Hi, my name's Hugh.
My name's Lauren. I'm from Manchester, in England.
I like The Cure because it brings out emotions in me which no other band can ever do.
I play in a tribute band, an Italian tribute band called Easy Cure.
I like The Cure because they are absolutely fantastic and they've helped me through a lot of hard times and have shaped the person that I am today.
I've been a Cure fan now for 24 years. They've recorded some of the greatest music I've ever heard.
And basically, it's just a whole Cure world to me.
Robert was born in Blackpool.
In northwest England, sort of up near Manchester.
When he was a small child, he moved
To Crawley at quite an early age.
small town, nothing much happening there.
Hi, we're in Crawley. I'm going to take you around to some places that are really important in The Cure's history, so come with me. Crawley's like a suburban, typical English town.
Which is not used to seeing a lot of different types of people. He was sort of like seen as a bit of a maverick, a bit of an oddity.
And as a creative person, I suppose living in a boring place makes your mind work in different ways.
So I think he really was looking for inspiration. Behind me now is the original location of Notre Dame Middle School, where Robert, Lawrence and Michael first met. It's great as a Cure fan to be here, a really special place. This is where it all began.
I think he was sort of slightly unique and sort of different to the rest of the people in Crawley.
After Notre Dame, Robert came here to St Wilfrid's. It was a very strict school and very different from Notre Dame. Here I think he rebelled.
He used to wear women's dresses, women's coats, which in the early 80s, late 70s was obviously very odd.
I think he started dabbling in makeup even at an early age, and hence his image now. Behind me now is the Railway Pub, previously known as the Rocket. This is a really important place in The Cure's history. In the 70s, they played here their first gigs as Easy Cure.
One of their first video compilations. There is actually quite a funny shot of them playing on the bandstand in the middle of Crawley Town Centre.
Just over there is the bandstand. Easy Cure played here in '76 at a free concert for the peace organisation. There were quite a lot of people here at the time, and it's featured in the video Staring at the Sea.
This is the very first Cure single I ever bought, 40 pence in Woolworths. As you can sort of see, it has been sort of like played quite a lot. Would be worth quite a bit if it was actually in mint condition, but I would never sell it. I mean, this is definitely part of my life.
This is a book that I've had since I was about 3 years old, and we found it again when we moved house for the last time, and I was looking through it and I figured out why I'm such a huge Cure fan now, because according to this book I have been since I was 3 years old. I was looking through it and there's a page that says, "What's your favourite record?" and mine, in my 4-year-old scribble, says The Cure.
It's very, very hot in South Africa. It's impossible to wear black all the time, which is a very sad thing because I love wearing black.
I first got into The Cure around about 82. Pornography came out and I saw the sleeve in a record shop window and I spent my pocket money on that.
Very dark, very morbid in some cases. There's a lot of reds, lots of blacks.
It was quite different at the time.
Pornography was the band's 4th album. It is, I think, the greatest album ever released. It contains so much pent-up violence, anger and energy.
Nightmarish lyrics.
Death and despair, which always makes people wonder why I like it so much, but I really like that side of the Cure music.
The opening lyric of the opening track, 100 Years, is "Does it matter if we all die?"
Just think, wow, this is just totally amazing. This has just captured me.
The closing lyric of the closing track, Pornography, is "I must fight this sickness, find a cure." And the whole album is just collections of sort of angst.
I tend to listen to Pornography most when I'm angry because Robert seems to speak better with his lyrics than I can ever express my anger, so listening to that music helps me calm down a lot.
It makes me quiet, relaxed, because it makes me throw out all the bad thoughts, all the rage that sometimes I have inside.
It's really refreshing in some ways to actually hear someone else with that anger, with that passion, with that energy that they need to explode.
You get angry and you get upset and you get quite depressed at times, and you can put a Cure album on and those lyrics can hit you and wash over you almost.
It's a way of actually sort of like getting out that sort of like anger you might have inside of you. And I've found that to be infinitely useful on a number of occasions.
Right now we're in Richmond, it's in West London, at a place called York House Gardens, where The Cure recorded their video for The Hanging Garden. It's very different at the moment, it's got a lot of greenery everywhere. It was very bleak, I think shot in the winter when they did it 22 years ago.
The first time I saw Hanging Garden, I thought it was an horror movie.
The reason that they did the red eye makeup was to make their eyes look like they were bleeding, which is very nice.
Everyone looks quite ill and ill at ease about making it, and I think that kind of makes the video really.
It's a surreal setting, I say. I think it's a wish pond now, I think. There's a lot of coins in the water, and it's cute. I love it here. It's very peaceful.
With the release of Disintegration, it was the next step up for the band.
It kind of puts The Cure on top of everybody else, so to speak.
They started to have hits in America.
They finally made the statement which they never intended to make, but it came across to a lot of people.
I don't think Robert really meant it to happen, because when he delivered the finished album to a record company in '89, they were really shocked.
Their record company called it commercial suicide, which was most definitely proven wrong. I first saw them when I was 11 years old. I was on holiday in Holland and the Lullaby video came on TV.
With that song, they became one of the icon or the cult band of the world.
I was frightened as anything and I hid behind the couch and I didn't want to see more, but I was very intrigued by who this person was.
The video for Lullaby, which involved Robert being eaten by a spider while lying on a bed, was great to watch. A video made by Tim Pope, who made a lot of the good Cure videos.
I believe when he storyboarded the Lullaby video and took it to Robert and said, "This is what I want to do," Robert thought it was quite a relatively easy project.
I was shocked the first time that I saw Lullaby. Everyone remember the spider.
It's really quite horrible seeing it as an 11-year-old.
Quietly lost, shaking his head, creeps closer and closer to the foot of the bed.
The makeup imagery, the whole band, they just look really brilliant, and Robert's almost his first real acting part. He should have won an award or a cameo for that because he acted really well.
Pictures of You is important because touch some feelings that everyone feel.
Pictures of You is very special. I lost my mother 13 years ago. Obviously, I've got a lot of photos of her and a lot of pictures of her which remind me of the times that we had together.
Last Easter, my best friend died, and it was the song that I was listening to when I found out that she died. So that, whenever I listen to it, reminds me of her.
You look at the pictures and almost believe that they're real, as Robert says.
I tend to listen to it while I'm looking at my pictures of her because they just seem to go together so well.
You can't help but feel very strong emotional bond with that song because it's about losing people and everybody's lost someone. Robert has got such a unique style.
I always remember his huge hair and his bright red lips.
I mean, his hair is just a nest of knots. If your idol can do that, then you sort of feel, well, if I can join him.
That's one thing that appeals to me as a Cure fan. You want to look different. You want to be part of a tribe or just not really fit in.
I think in some ways people like to use it because they can sort of like hide behind the mask.
I read in an interview that he used a particular style of hair gel, so I went right across town once to find the brand that he was using, bought about 10 bottles of it and brought it home and experimented. I could never get my hair quite long enough, so around about 1986 I spent a whole week's wages on hair extensions. And about a month later I went to the Glastonbury Festival to watch The Cure and they all fell out. I used to get my girlfriend's mum to make me shirts which were the same style of Robert's at the time. I had about 10 made up at once, I think. I wanted to show you some photos. They're kind of embarrassing, but I think they're all part of me and my Cure world. These are ones that I had taken. It's me looking a bit like Robert there. We really went for a real Robert pose in this one. And I started applying the makeup and going out to the pub. The outsider would probably think I was kind of nuts, I suppose.
The makeup, the hair is up and the lipstick helped me to be less shy and let me be relaxed and comfortable. It's like a switch inside of me. When I make up before gigs, it makes me change my feeling and my style. The style of Robert is followed by loads of people and a lot of girls. They said that you're beautiful, you're brilliant, yeah, you look like Robert. And it's beautiful.
This was me when I was 7, and I don't think anybody that I know, besides people who've been into my house, have seen me with my blonde hair. So this is what I used to look like before I got really into The Cure and decided that it was time for a complete makeover. This is a shirt that I've had for a while now, and because of its size and colour, it's been classed by everybody that I know as my Robert Smith shirt. When I wear it, it is absolutely massive on me, similar to the ones that Robert Smith wears.
And yes, I have myself dressed as Robert. These are a couple of me dressed. This is the first time that someone made me up for a gig in Edinburgh, and this was sort of taken in my back garden. Unfortunately, as you can see, an awful lot of hairspray was used, and I've lost my hair now. This could take anything. Well, when I first started doing it, it'd take me a lot longer. Probably take sort of like 1 or 2 hours to begin with, but I could probably do it now in about sort of half an hour. One of the things that I do when I go out and see the band, or sometimes when I'm actually playing a gig myself, or even just sort of clubbing, is I do like to put the makeup on. One of the great things about this is that you don't actually have to look absolutely perfect, which I think is one of the reasons why quite a lot of people do it. It's just sort of like the idea of just enhancing the eyes slightly. I will actually wear mascara quite often. I don't quite get away with wearing it at work. Apart from the hair, one of the most important things about Robert's look, and the most things that people remember about, is the lipstick, which again has never been applied with any sort of like great relish or any sort of like great expertise. In some ways, it's not a complete copy of what Robert does. What I try and do is take the aspects of the way Robert looks and then sort of change it for my own appearance. So it's like the colour of lipstick I use is different to the one that Robert uses, just to make it look even more sensuous. If this is what I want to wear today, this is what I'll wear today.
I was in Turin in 1996 during the Swing Tour, and I was sleeping in front of the hotel where the Cure was. Robbins came out from the hotel, and he asked me to do a walk with him, and I say yes. And we start to walk and to speak a lot for all night, and it was the best night of my life.
I actually met Robert for the first time in 1996. They were playing a TV show, and I met them in the pub. It was quite funny. I was sort of in there waiting for some friends, and I sort of looked up, and there was a guy looking up at the wall. And as we've been talking about before about the way that people dress as Robert, I sort of looked at him and thinking, oh, he's got the Robert look quite well. And then actually realised it was Robert. And I actually felt myself walking towards him, thinking, oh, this is a photograph of me when I had hair with Simon and with Robert. In fact, the person who was taking the photo, the camera didn't work, but they actually waited until the camera worked.
First time I met The Cure was on Top of the Pops for In Between Days. Shook in my boots when they walked in. I was really nervous. And it took me about 20 minutes to go up and say something to them, but when I did that, I found them really friendly, really down to earth.
This is the photograph that I had taken in 2002 when I travelled out to Hamburg to see The Cure live. Looking back at it, when I look at myself, I again look completely different, and I also remember exactly as I felt when I was stood right next to Robert. You can't tell from the pitch, but I was in floods of tears when I was stood next to him, and it was really special.
I've never met Robert. I've had the opportunity once to meet him, and that was backstage a few months ago after a TV show. And I was just so amazed that I was, first of all, standing in the same room as him, not in a concert environment. And at one point he was standing right next to me, and his elbow was touching my elbow, and I could smell his hair basically, and I was frozen in awe of this man that I love so much standing right next to me, and I just couldn't bring myself to talk to him.
It's difficult to describe the sound of The Cure. There's so many different styles in there. Some people call them goths.
The Cure are most definitely not a goth band.
They probably have goth moments, but overall I don't think they are a complete goth band.
Okay, they do have a lot of more somber moments.
They have a lot of depressing songs.
They do wear an awful lot of black.
A lot of people, they say, oh, you're a Cure fan, you must be really depressed.
I appeal to a more negative side of life, personally.
But a lot of their songs are extremely happy.
You've got the delight that is the Love Cats. You've got the delight that is Friday I'm in Love.
I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey and Wednesday too.
I mean, the video for Friday I'm in Love, it's like sort of done in a children's playground and children's theatre. And what they do is they keep sort of jumping into this big box of loads and sort of dressing up as costumes and stuff. People who apparently want to kill themselves don't do that.
It's Friday, I'm in love.
It's just very difficult to describe the pure Cure sound.
I think the only possible way to categorise the Cure is as unique. They don't have one single style, they change, and that's what makes them so great.
Show me how you do that trick. The one that makes me scream, she said. The one that makes me laugh, she said. Threw her arms around my head. Show me how you do it. Promise you I'll promise that I'll run away with you. I'll run away with you. You, soft and lonely. You, lost and lonely. You, just like heaven.
They kind of had this weird, mysterious, dark side to them.
They just strike that place in me, you know, that sad, lonely love place.
I can't think of another band that commands that kind of attention.
You could see why they're so legendary.
Their music and their look together is definitely iconic, you know?
Wild hair and this pale face and this smeared lipstick.
His songs are timeless.
He writes about love and heartbreak and depression and, you know, fantasy.
I can't think of another band actually. It's been out 25 years and they're still making good music.
I think they're one of the greatest bands for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our MTV Icons, The Cure!
Tonight is a celebration of a band whose integrity, passion, melancholy, and humor have made them superstars in stadiums and heroes in bedrooms the world all over. Once upon a time, in a mysterious and distant suburb, there lived a naughty little boy called Robert. Robert dreamed of being a musician, and he chased that dream on stage as soon as he could.
The very first time I ever went on stage was actually with a band called the Crawley Goat Band, who played the kind of weird sort of jug band music. I was about 10.
But they'd run out of goats in Crawley, so Robert formed his first band with his classmates. Looking back on it now, their first gig at school was a total success.
They were just awful, and people just walked off.
The band was called Malice, and that was our only show. And I got thrown out of school because of it.
Starting new bands out of school, Robert soon learnt it's not what you play, but who with and why.
I'd love to say it's because my overwhelming talent on bass that Robert picked me. No, Robert and I were mates, and that was it.
Their early existential hits made them a band apart, and they knew that they were unique.
I once read that you were called the Pink Floyd of the 80s. What do you think of that?
We're not at all.
They're the Cure of the 80s.
I really did think it was us against the world and everything.
And it was a battle that Simon and Robert fought in the dark.
We went through a progression where we did kind of get heavier and heavier and darker, which I think generates this whole notion of us being this kind of like dark, gloomy band.
But then into all that darkness came a light, and the songs just got happier.
I think he couldn't continue going down the dark road. The dark road had a dark ending, and it would have done him in if he'd carried on with it.
I wanted us to do kind of 3-minute pop songs.
And everyone liked these 3 minutes.
They're the ones that the kids like and the grandparents. You don't have to try to like them, they're infectious tunes.
Millions of people love those infectious tunes, and quite a few people joined and left the band over the years until we have this, the ultimate cure.
I started working for the band as a guitar roadie.
I answered an advert in the paper.
And he phoned the wrong number.
When they finished the Kiss Me album, they asked me to join for the tour. After about a week, Robert asked me to stay. He's regretted it ever since.
I think this lineup of the band is the best lineup that we've ever had. It's like a dream come true.
And this dream continues because The Cure are famous all over the world, filling the airwaves with their music, the charts with their albums, and stadiums with their fans.
Their shows are amazing, and they're very long. They get very intense and epic and build up, and it's a big emotional development.
And so after 26 years of making magical music and dreaming, these 5 imaginary boys were praised throughout the land and made MTV icons.
And now, your host, the original Antichrist superstar, Mr. Marilyn Manson.
There's no other bands still making music that means so much to me. The Cure showed me that there was more to life than metal. They managed to be darker and heavier than what I already knew, but with something extra. Romance for the ladies, but still heavy and clever too. Here's Blink 182 with A Letter to Elise.
Every yesterday night we keep on
EFI, Deftones, and Razorlight pay their tribute to Cure, the masters of the cheerful nightmare, after these special messages. Welcome back to MTV Icon for the Cure. This band, like all great artists, brings together the conscious with the unconscious, and a rare combination of mirth and melancholy. What Tim Buckley called in one word, happy sad. That's a reason why they've managed to mean so much to so many.
Testing.
Multi-platinum success one year can mean nothing the next. There's hundreds of bands who sold millions of records without ever leaving a trace, but that's not the case with The Cure. After all, you judge the significance of an artist by their impact on the medium.
They're like one of the most important bands in music because they change the way people think about music.
I love groups that are really edgy, groups that say things in styles that are very different, and that's what I love about The Cure, and rock on.
They are mesmerizing and hypnotic and romantic at the same time.
I think there was something beautifully romantic in all of Robert Smith's misery that I related to.
It feels good sometimes to wallow in your own grief and depression and despair, and The Cure are the perfect band to do that.
I love The Cure.
The Cure have always been around my life.
I used to even have dreams about The Cure when I was a kid.
I think we're about 15 years old. I mean, we did a cover of Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah, hugely influenced by them. Well, mainly because of their music, but also Robert Smith's image. I went, I want to be like you.
We've always been flattered by other artists name-checking The Cure.
The music on Californication was, a lot of it was very influenced by The Cure, and no critics ever picked up on that.
The Cure has definitely been a part of our music.
The Cure, only one of the greatest bands ever.
Amazing.
It doesn't really validate what I do, but it enhances what I do immeasurably, to think that we are inspiring other people to do something.
I've been a fan of The Cure since the 80s, you know, but I think it was like with the Disintegration album that I was just like, oh my God.
I bought a cassette tape of The Cure's Disintegration, put it in my van, and just followed the sun west and drove to the sea listening to it. And it's a fine memory of a fine record.
17 Seconds and Faith, those two albums were very influential on Flea and myself.
I'm a big fan of The Cure, but I would say I'm the wrong category fans because I heard about The Cure with The Head on the Door. Yeah, we are big fans.
There's the Beatles and David Bowie and The Cure, and I see them all as in kind of like a line, and like I feel like you can constantly go back and get things out of it.
In turn, we were all inspired by people to do what we do. You have to be. I mean, it's like there's always someone you think, I would love to be like that. So to think that we could be that person to other people, it's a really good feeling.
The Cure being an icon is simply awesome. Those guys deserve it. Robert Smith has always had a special place in my heart. So congratulations for being an icon.
Robert Smith once said, when I was young, I always dreamed of having a group that was adored by few and ignored by the rest of the world. Tonight is proof that that dream did not come true. Here's AFI with Just Like Heaven. is that you suffer for your art. You let your heart scream out to its song and try to change the world through your pain. And all the press want to talk about is why is a grown man wearing makeup?
Really important things about The Cure is that Robert Smith has a very readily identifiable image.
The hair,
like Edward Scissorhands,
the makeup. They kind of look like, you know, vagabondish, ragamuffin-y sort of rejects from the Haunted Mansion ride in Disneyland.
They created their own genre, and people like to call it goth. Robert, of course, hates that tag.
The Cure have long been the pop band that it's all right for goths to like.
Oh, goth. We love the goths.
Goth as a scene has evolved and adapted since its birth in the early 80s, and several of those evolutions have The Cure's fingerprints all over them. Certainly Robert Smith's look, for example.
I'm going to show you how to transform your face into the very beautiful Robert Smith. First important step to this look, pale powder.
I have never, ever, ever, in 25 years of doing this, ever worn white face powder.
The eyes were like a square of black around the eye. The lips looked like he'd fallen on the lipstick rather than actually put it on.
His lipstick's on crooked. Yeah. He didn't do a very good job.
This is the actual MAC Ruby Woo lipstick that Robert favours. It's almost like a slash across the mouth.
Well, like, if he didn't have, like, the makeup and he didn't sing like that, then he'd be pretty cool.
Looking like you kissed a knife is only half of it. Big black hair is rock and roll, but the biggest, blackest, big black hair was always The Cure.
There was a period, I suppose, in the late 80s when we did have fantastically big hair. You know, we started to play stadiums, and so the hair had to become stadium size.
My name's Thomas, I'm Robert Smith's official hairdresser, and here I'm going to recreate for you the look. I used to spend about a good hour cutting the hair. I don't need to worry about styling too much, just kind of get the back combing in, get the knots out. Yeah, it's not really one that gets requested very much in the salon. It's very much the original bedhead. There we go. Easy steps how to create the Robert Smith.
That look is really crucial to The Cure. If you see a video on the TV, the second you see Robert Smith, you go, oh, that's The Cure. Even if the sound's turned down, you know that's The Cure.
Still, there's no shortage of rough-looking bands with big hair and bad makeup. Think of Duran Duran back in the day, or Duran Duran right now. What made The Cure stand out was their fearless sense of humor, brought out on screen by this man.
When I came along, their music was kind of really quite sort of dirgy. No, I'm going to take loads of drugs and drop into this hole and disappear. And then suddenly, I came along when they'd done Let's Go to Bed, and there was a whole change in mood.
It's really strange, actually, because most of the general media around the world became aware of The Cure through the stupid pop videos, you know, and yet I was still doing interviews then about so you are very dark, you know, and I was thinking, like, I've just been sitting with like kittens on my lap in a polka dot shirt.
But of course, the reason the videos work is because the songs are so damn good.
Without the songs, none of the rest of it would matter. It wouldn't matter what I said or what I looked like or anything, because people wouldn't be bothered, because there'd be nothing to be bothered about.
Songs sung with, apparently, by the band that wrote them. A 20th century idea, enjoying a resurgence thanks to bands like The Cure and bands that like The Cure. This is Rachel Light and Boys. And now, Cry.
Tears in my eyes, because judge your limit. I pushed you too far, girl. I took you for granted. Not that you needed me more. I would do most anything to get you back by my side, but I just keep on hiding the tears in my eyes because boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. Tears in your mouth and your TV set. You're just searching for something that you'll never forget, but we know boys don't cry.
Thank you, The Cure.
Most bands have consumers, but The Cure have fans. It starts with the first catchy tune and a cute lyric. Then you like the band, then you buy all the records, and then it's a lifestyle. A burning love, then an obsession. Obsession. Obsession.
Nominated with our fans. They're all beautiful and clever.
I think The Cure are fantastic.
Their music has shaped me as a person.
Music-wise, lyric-wise, I can relate to it.
The music has a certain sound to it which takes you away into a dream world which nobody else can penetrate.
I basically use them to rebel against my parents.
Very proud to be a Cure fan in this day and age.
The Cure tend to have very important impact on fans. Young people recognize themselves in the Cure music and especially in Robert Smith's lyrics. So it helps them with their adolescent issues.
Crumbs.
I think a lot of people who feel a bit alienated from a normal way of life can think, oh, I'll go and listen to The Cure.
Anyone that calls themselves a Cure fan is generally very passionate.
Also maybe at times obsessed.
I don't think many Cure fans were good at games either.
There's something about what we do that transcends the music. It's like the way we do it and what we mean to people, and it's like that draws people together, and so they feel there's something more than just like, you know, watching a band play.
In other words, it goes a lot deeper than a Cure t-shirt and a funny haircut.
I think we all have our own sort of style. We're all kind of different people, but we have The Cure in common.
The dress code is really important in fans because they want to be recognized as a fan of bands, and they also want to be different from the other people.
Once you hear a few songs, it just gets kind of obsessive. You have this attachment to them where you almost can't let them go at points.
Like Michael Jackson, Elvis, and Marilyn Monroe, Robert Smith is haunted by an industry based on his identity.
Personally, I think some of the tribute bands I've seen did it quite well.
They're all right. Some are better than others.
I mean, if you close your eyes, you almost think it's The Cure on stage.
There's an Australian Cure cover band, and the singer came up to me and said, "We sound more like you than you do." On any level, that isn't possible.
But it's no surprise that it was possible to turn Robert into a cartoon.
Boring. We had just started the show, and it was just this very small, rinky-dink little show on a cable channel. And when we decided to put Robert in the show, it was just a complete lark.
Is this Robert Smith of The Cure?
Yes, it is. That was an ambition that I didn't think I'd fulfil, actually, to become a real-life cartoon character as opposed to a pretend one.
You're awesome. You're so awesome.
Who are you?
Dude, Robert Smith of The Cure.
It was probably the coolest thing I've ever done.
Robert Smith kicks ass.
He kicks ass in so many obvious ways, but I think he actually could kick some ass.
There's no higher compliment, actually, than getting into something like The Simpsons or South Park, because it's kind of culturally more significant than anything else you can ever do, I think.
Goodbye, Robert Smith. Thank you for your help. Visit us again.
Because of my teenage lust, apparently I have a lust for metal. I came to The Cure pretty late It was like joining a secret society. A secret shared by everyone here tonight. Please welcome the Deftones. If only tonight we could sleep! When we return The Cure live right here. For every person you see in the audience tonight, there was another 1,000 who would have loved to have been here. Because Robert keeps threatening to kill off The Cure, it's special. Every time we see them after 26 years, most bands will be calling in the session musicians or morticians, but not The Cure.
People sort of say to me like, oh, you're 45 now, you're still doing this. Like, and I think, yeah, I am, but I still really like doing it.
For most bands, 26 years, 13 studio albums, 34 singles, 8 gold albums, 6 platinum albums, 1 multi-platinum album, a total of 27 million sales would be a dead weight, a tombstone. At the very least, enough. For The Cure, it's time to begin again.
This is a really good trick.
But The Cure's best trick is their oldest. They keep making music that comes from the heart, which is why the new metal Svengali knew that his 21st century take on the band's sound would still have the same magic.
What I hope to achieve doing The Cure is to have somebody feel the love for music that I felt.
Ross Robinson very cleverly manipulates people in the studio without them knowing that they're being manipulated. In fact, it was like seeing me in action watching Ross work.
This was my ambition. If you listen to the record, it's so giving that if you're a B student, you'll get A's.
We ended up with a record that I think is the best or the most passionate thing that we've ever done.
This passion of The Cure continues with the celebrated Curiosa Touring Festival, where they are joined by like minds, including Muse, The Rapture, and Interpol.
I've really enjoyed this last tour, playing with different bands. I felt really inspired, actually.
It's been really good. Everyone's got on really well. It's different from a normal festival where you're just trying to get a broad sweep of musical styles. All the bands complement each other.
Sometimes I sort of feel like there's something wrong with me. You know, that I should somehow be doing something more grown up than what I do.
They've got another 25 years in them. Easy, if not more.
I can't honestly think of anything I would rather be doing, so I just keep doing this.
And the seriously simple lesson behind this longevity is, don't do as you're told.
I think that the secret of it is just to believe in what you're doing. There have been so few times when I've been doing things with The Cure that I haven't really believed in what we're doing.
So, that's how you get to mean a lot to millions of people, and how you get to be seen as an icon by the public and by your peers.
I think it is fair to say that The Cure are icons.
First day I've heard The Cure, I fell in love with them.
If it's iconic that lots of people walk the streets looking like you.
The reason I started wearing eyeliner and painting my fingernails black was because of The Cure.
If it's iconic that thousands of musicians across the world draw something from your style.
When they make new albums, they always have this touch that we like, and yeah, it's a very important band.
If it's iconic that they've sold millions and millions of records, then yeah, The Cure are definitely icons.
Robert, you're an icon, baby.
Bravo. The fact that we mean something to the whole breadth of people, I suppose if anything that kind of makes it easier to wear the mantle of like icon. But if it was real, we'd have to decline the entire thing. But we all know it's just a joke anyway.
Let the dark in your hearts and the light in your soul welcome The Cure on stage live! I've been Marilyn Manson, you've been you. Let's show appreciation for The Cure, MTV Icons. Thank you. Good night.
Tap drips under the strip light, and I'm sitting in the kitchen sink, and the tap drips, drip, 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 drip.